Hi folks, this is Marianne from So Cute Beads, Z-O-C-U-T-E Beads. I just want to show you what we're making today. This is what I call my figure 8 earrings, and we're going to get to work on them. So let's start. What you need is 2 pieces of pretty thin wire, a coated type wire. This one I'm using is 0.38 millimeters. You need 2 pieces. Oh, I got one right here and right here, so I'll put that up there. You need some crystals. You need some jump rings, some wire guards, ear wires, and 2 crimp beads. These are 3 millimeter crimp beads. They just get squished down. And then you need a couple of tools, some pliers. Oops, there's an earring going flying. Flesh cutter. And let's get started. So we're going to do the one end first, and I call these a figure 8 because when they all get wrapped around like this, they're going to go back through and it's going to come up through the center. So it's like a figure 8. All right, so let's start with the top of the earring. So we need, I'm using a bigger crystal in the middle and smaller ones on the dangle. So this is the top part, this piece right here. So what we're going to do, I'll put this right here so you can see it in the background so you get a better idea. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the wire as if it was a needle. We're going to put on our crimp bead. We're going to put on one of these flat silver beads, a crystal, and a flat silver bead. Now the piece that makes this work is this little tiny horseshoe shaped part, and it's called a wire guard. And there's 2 little ends on either side, and you'll put your wire or your string up one side, and just make sure these don't fall off, and then go down the other side, making sure that the wire stays in the channel. And then you're going to take your end that just went around the wire guard, and you're going to pass it back through the silver bead, the crystal, the silver bead, and the crimp bead. And you're going to come out the crimp bead, and you're going to give yourself about an inch, still leaving this long tail on the other half. All right, so you're going to push that all up, and it's going to move a few times before we get all the parts on. Don't get yourself crazy. So now I've got about a 1-inch tail coming out the end of it, and that's going to be my adjustable piece for the wire guard to make sure everything's pulled tight. Now on this side, I'm going to put, and this is just the pattern that I picked. You can pick whatever you want. I put a flat silver bead. I'm going to put 2 crystals. This is just an amethyst. Most of these parts came from Michael's or Joann's or Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to put 2 more crystals on. You know, they sell the crystals. They'll be like 3 or 4 on a strand, different sizes. So, you know, you can use different sizes. I like the bigger one up on the top. I just think it makes a better statement. But you could do whatever you want. I could have put a smaller one. I could have put the amethyst up there. So I'm just going to take that end now, and I'm going to go back up through the crimp bead, the silver bead, the crystal, the silver bead, and I'm going to push it right out the top. And as you can see, I'm adjusting my piece to how big I want my drop to be. So I made this one earlier, and I want to match what I have here. And I didn't finish the top yet, so I'll just show you. So now I want to play with this wire a little bit and get them to be about the same size. You know, just make them be about the same size. I think that's pretty good there. You can make them as short or as tall as you want. You can make this a lot shorter. Let me show you. So if I wanted to have smaller dangles, I could do this and have much smaller dangles as opposed to this, which is a much larger dangle. I could put bicones on here. I could put anything. I could put charms on here. This crimp bead does an amazing thing. Okay. And you also have to have the wire guard at the top. If you don't have that wire guard at the top, these beads will come right off. It just doesn't work. So you definitely need the wire guard. You know what I think would be pretty too? If you use some of that colored wire that they have now. Just something thin so that it's flexible. So you can see on this one, I already squished it down. It's not moving. It's right there. So I'm ready to squish this down. So I like the needle nose to do this squishing rather than the flat nose. I like the needle nose because I think it gets closer in there because of that angle. And, you know, it's a natural thing for you to be at a little bit of an angle. And I'm just going to squeeze that crimp bead, making sure that my top is tight in the wire guard. Okay, so now I'm just squishing it down really good. Oh, it's good. I'm trying to pull on it. It's not going anywhere. But I want to just do a double check. So I'm going to squeeze from the other side too. And if you want at this point, once you've got the start on that, you can use the flat nose pliers and just squish. And you want to make it as flat as you can because you don't want your wires to move. They're not moving anywhere. Okay, so now I'm going to come in here with my flush cutters and I'm going to get as tight as I can up here on the top. I will tell you that on the bottom piece, you don't want to cut either side, so you want to be careful. So just, I don't get it all the way up to the crimp, but I get kind of close. I can have a little tiny bit sticking out because it's not going to affect me. This is a little tiny stick out. And look at that. So now that part is done. So now I have to do my ear wires. So I'm just using these. I like lever backs too. They're kind of cool. But whatever works for you. So I'm going to use a jump ring. And I'm looking for the little hole. So now with jump rings, we all know the trick to jump rings. One hand goes forward, one hand goes back. We don't pull it apart like this. So I just get my tools on either side of my jump ring and I gently rotate one hand forward, one hand back. Then I take my wire guard piece of the earring and I take my ear wire and I load them both on. And then I just go back and forth until my jump rings are sitting pretty flush to each other. And then that earring is done. Now let me do the other one real quick. Just do my jump ring. You could use smaller jump rings. These are 6s, I believe. You could use a 5. Put my wire guard part of the earring on and my ear wire. And there's really not a front and a back to this earring. So it just, let me put those over here. It looks like this. And we're finished. I hope you like these. I just was messing around one day and came up with this idea. Thank you. Bye.